The mainstream media's portrayal of climate change has been a topic of controversy, with some arguing that it has been used as a tool to oppress Christians. While this claim may seem far-fetched, there are several ways in which the media's narrative on climate change has been used to target and marginalize Christian communities. One of the primary ways in which this occurs is through the demonization of Christian values and principles. The media often portrays Christians as being opposed to environmentalism and climate action, implying that their faith is inherently at odds with protecting the planet. This narrative is perpetuated through the use of pejorative language, with Christians being labeled as climate deniers or anti-science for questioning the severity of climate change or the effectiveness of proposed solutions. This type of language serves to delegitimize Christian perspectives and create a sense of moral superiority among those who support climate action. Furthermore, the media often frames climate change as a moral issue, with those who support climate action being portrayed as virtuous and those who oppose it being portrayed as selfish and short-sighted. This moralizing can be particularly problematic for Christians, who are taught to prioritize the care of the poor and vulnerable. By framing climate change as a moral issue, the media creates a false narrative that Christians who question climate change are somehow less compassionate or less committed to social justice. The media also tends to amplify the voices of secular environmentalists and scientists, while marginalizing the perspectives of Christian leaders and scholars. This creates a sense of imbalance, with the views of Christians are not given equal weight or consideration. For example, when Pope Francis released his encyclical on the environment, Laudato Si', the media focus was largely on the scientific aspects of the document, rather than the theological and moral arguments presented. This serves to reinforce the notion that Christians are not credible voices on environmental issues. In addition, the media often uses climate change as a wedge issue to divide Christians and create conflict within Christian communities. By pitting Christians who support climate action against those who are skeptical, the media creates a sense of tension and discord. This can be particularly damaging, as it undermines the unity and cohesion of Christian communities and creates an us versus them mentality. The media's use of climate change to oppress Christians is also evident in the way it covers issues related to religious freedom. For example, when Christian businesses or organizations are forced to comply with regulations or laws that conflict with their faith, the media often portrays them as being obstructionist or discriminatory. This creates a sense of hostility towards Christians and reinforces the notion that their faith is incompatible with modern society. It is also worth noting that the media's narrative on climate change is often rooted in a secular, materialistic worldview that is at odds with Christian values. The emphasis on human agency and the ability of humans to control the planet through technological and policy solutions reflects a fundamentally secular perspective. In contrast, Christians are taught to recognize the limits of human knowledge and power and to trust in God's sovereignty over creation. By promoting a secular narrative on climate change, the media reinforces a worldview that is inimical to Christian faith. In conclusion, the mainstream media's use of climate change to oppress Christians is a complex and multifaceted issue. Through the demonization of Christian values, the moralizing of climate change, the marginalization of Christian perspectives, and the creation of conflict within Christian communities, the media reinforces a narrative that is hostile to Christian faith. By recognizing these dynamics, Christians can begin to push back against the media's narrative and promote a more nuanced and balanced understanding of climate change that reflects their values and principles. Ultimately, this requires a deeper understanding of the ways in which the media shapes public discourse and the importance of promoting diverse perspectives and voices in the public square.